guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I have a very entertaining article titled, I'm in an open marriage, but now my husband is having a baby with another woman and they want me to raise it. And a shout out to Shane for sending this article. And guys, just like the title says, this article is about a woman. She's over in the UK. She and her husband are in their 40s. And long story short, she thought it was a genius idea to open up their marriage. And of course, the husband goes along with it. And this all happened after their oldest or only child went off to college, so the house is empty. And to no surprise, it's completely backfired on her. And now we got a whole woe is me article about it. And this couple, they're from over in the UK. I'm not quite sure where. This is a UK newspaper or whatever you want to call it. And I forget what it's called, but I'll remember later on. And essentially, she wanted the open marriage, and that's what I put together here, even though she's kind of making it out like we did it. And to no surprise, like a lot of women, she had instantly had fun. Guys that were after her, because it's not, let's be honest, men are pigs, and they'll pretty much nail anything that's remotely attractive. But the husband obviously didn't. But eventually he finds someone that he wanted to just be with. A gal who's 25 years old. He starts seeing her, being exclusive, and this woman here loses it. Well, guess what? She gets pregnant, and now he wants to obviously have her help raise it, and it's a big mess. Now, I gotta say this. Absolutely, this is a pity party article for her. She wants pity, because that's what a pity party is, duh. But anyhow, there are definitely some things I think she's greatly exaggerating to get pity, or actually making up. I don't buy some of the things she's saying here. And I'm sure you guys will be able to pick that out. But the overall theme here is open marriages is a stupid idea. If you're not happy together, you feel inclined to want to go hook up with other people, then just end it. Especially in the situation when the oldest is now out of the house, is a legal adult, and you know what I mean? They're both in their 40s, okay, fine, but it backfires. And it's amazing how people just don't get this and they keep making the same mistake. And if you guys have somebody in your life, your wife, your girlfriend wants to do that, end it, for goodness sake. It ain't going to go well. But she's in deep crap. So starts off, says here, a woman who decided to open up her marriage in a bid to spice things up has revealed that her husband is now having a baby with another woman. And the mistress is moving in so they can raise it together. Spice things up, huh? Really? That's how it's going to be spiced up for the husband? Her going out and banging other dudes? Unless he's a cuck, and I don't think that's the case. The woman who's 42 years old, who will be referred to as the pseudonym Michelle throughout the story, as she asked to keep her identity private, met her now husband, who will be referred to as George, who's 38, when they were still in school in 2000. Oh, okay, he's younger than her. They started off as friends, but eventually their relationship turned romantic before tying the knot in 2007 and having a baby soon afterwards. For years, she said that their marriage was truly wonderful as they grew together. Well, it wasn't that wonderful if, this happened. But eventually, after their child went off to college, they mutually made the decision to open up their marriage. It's funny, but in the article, they have mutually like this, in quotes, mutually. 9.9 times out of 10, it is the woman, the wife, that brings this thing up, not the guy. Or she manipulated him into thinking it was a good idea. As each other's first loves, Michelle explained that they had never been with anyone else, and they thought experimenting with other people might spice up their romance. How is that going to spice up their romance? Come on, make each other miss each other or something like that? What a load of crap. And while at first it was fun, the endeavor ultimately ended in a heartbreak for Michelle after her husband got another woman pregnant. Gee, what do you think's going to happen eventually when people are hooking up? Even if he wore protection, there's no guarantee. The fucking condom can break, not to mention catching things. You're playing with fire here. Now the other woman wants to move in with Michelle and George. She wants to move into Michelle and George's home so Michelle can take care of the baby, something she's not quite sure she's comfortable with. Well, okay, she doesn't want to do that, then fine. She can say no. She can say we're getting divorced. Something like that, She spoke exclusively with the DailyMail.com about the messy situation as she warned other women to not make the same mistake she did. Well, at least is she admitting she's wrong? Is that what we got going on here? She said, we both had never been with another and thought it could be fun to try, Michelle explained. It was fun at first. We were both open about things, laughed about things. We were only really going out on dates, having one-night stands. Well, okay, you're still hooking up. How do you think she got pregnant? Magic? She says, I wouldn't say it caused any tension or jealousy. We each went out with other people, but the goal or desire was to not bring a third person into our current relationship. You cannot be married or in a relationship and go out and have relations with other people and don't think in some way, somehow, it is not going to affect your current relationship. That is insanity. Yeah, you hear these stories and people lay out all these rules, terms and conditions, and I might add, it's usually the woman who brings this up in the first place that dictates, and yes, I said dictates to their weak-ass husbands, rules, terms and conditions, but like it's actually going to work. But everything changed when George started seeing one of his younger coworkers, Emma, 25 years old, last year. Aha. So let's look at this from George's perspective here. He got his wife, who's like in her 40s, who had a kid. Even if his wife is good looking for her age, I mean, there are good looking women in their 40s, don't get me wrong. But one in the open relationship, he can't trust. Then he's got Emma over here, who's 25 years old, in her prime. Boobs aren't sagging yet. Body's tight. Body's looking good. And she's looking up. She likes silver foxes. She likes daddies and all that. She's making him feel young. What do you think is going to happen here? Young pussy, right? Michelle explained that George was honest with her about his relations with Emma from the start, and she was initially okay with it because it seemed like it was just another hookup at first. Yeah, in her mind, she's got nothing to worry about. Okay, fine, he's just hooking up with Emma. And meanwhile, she's getting down with Nigel and Wadsworth and any other British names that probably people don't really use much anymore. But eventually, Michelle began to feel like her husband was focused more on his romance with Emma than on her. Well, what do you think is going to happen when you start bringing other people into your marriage, dumbass? She says, initially I didn't mind sharing Emma with my husband. There's a bit of jealousy for sure, but that's natural, she continued. But then I was put on the back foot by her. As she became more of a fixture in my husband's life, she became more comfortable and our relationship changed. What do you think is going to happen when you open up your marriage, dumbass? She said Emma started coming over to the house and would treat her like she was her servant. Yeah, see, this is the part where it's like, really, lady? You got a chick almost half your age coming to treat you like the servant, and you're put up with this? You're the one that obviously she's had power in the relationship, because I'm convinced, even though she's saying we agreed to open up the marriage, that was her idea. Come on. And she's saying she has got power. She says, I would take her boots off at the door, make sure the house was clean on her arrival, and other various tasks. I quickly learned to comply with what I was told, she said. What a load of... unless, like, they're into some role-playing domination shit, which I doubt they are. She's saying that basically she has to be this girl's servant coming to the house. So the young pussy's coming over, so I got to take her shoes and make sure the house is clean for her. Yeah, what a load of crap. She's looking for pity. Last week, Michelle said Emma and George sat her down and told her they had news that they wanted to share. At first, she thought she was being kicked out and that her husband was going to leave her for Emma. Well, that would probably be very likely. But instead, they announced that Emma was pregnant with his baby and they wanted Michelle to raise it. Really? Exactly like that? And Michelle can say, no. How hard is that to say? But woe is me, says Michelle, I need to have drama. She could divorce the guy. We all know darn well she'll probably take him to the cleaners, even though this was her idea. She told me she was pregnant. I looked down trying to fight the tears Michelle recalled of the moment. Here we go with the waterworks. She says, my face was hot. I asked if she wanted to keep the baby. She kind of laughed and told me, with her busy schedule, she wouldn't have the time needed for raising a baby, so I'd be the primary caregiver and raise the baby alongside with my husband. Well, this definitely backfired, didn't it? Well, look, you don't have to raise the baby, for God's sakes. They should not be together anymore. They should have broken up the second she wanted to do this whole thing. She also, this is the woman telling the story. She also said that she'd be moving in with us, and I'd basically be assuming a nanny maid role. I tried to protest, but was told it wasn't a choice. Again, we got some kind of domination thing going on here. Come on. Michelle remembered being too stunned to be upset at first, but when the shock wore off, she said she was heartbroken. Says the gal that obviously is the one that brought up the open marriage. What did you expect? If the husband clearly didn't want this, he's going to gravitate towards a gal that wanted something exclusive. And when you're hooking up with other people, accidents can happen. Unless he did this on purpose as an FU, which is possible. She says it was degrading to think of raising another woman's baby that she had with my husband, she explained. But it's not degrading that your husband's out hooking up with other chicks. You had no problem hooking up with other dudes. I didn't want anyone in my social circle to know I'm humiliated and ashamed. But you weren't humiliated and ashamed for open marriage? She said she's still not sure where to go from here and is torn about what she should do. It's called going to the lawyer, dumbass, getting a divorce and moving on from this fiasco. She says, if I agreed to raise the baby, I would still be part of the family. I would have a roof over my head. I would have food. I wouldn't be starting over, she said. Come on, this is 2025. You get divorced, you're not going to be out in the street panhandling by Westminster Abbey, for heaven's sake. You're going to be fine. Ultimately, I don't know if I will stay. If I do, I'm resigning myself to be a maid for my husband's girlfriend, essentially. However, I get to keep a lot of my essentials of life intact. Drama, drama, drama. This is nonsense. Come on here. She wants pity. You're going to be fine. In the end, she warned others not to open up their marriage like she did, as she knows things will now never be the same with her and her husband no matter what she decides. No kidding. That's what happens when you do this. It's stupid. She says, do not open the marriage. If I could go back, I would run fast and far, she concluded. And I need to be clear, it sounded fun. We both agreed to it. My husband could have easily been the one getting hurt. I know it can work out, but the exception, not the rule. Well, I have not yet ever covered a story or read a story where these things work out well. Let me back up here. The only time I've read anything that actually does work is when both parties begin the relationship together in a situation like this, open relationship, or they're swingers. That is the only way. But when you have a couple together for a period of time, and the foundation of the relationship is monogamy, yeah, what a concept. And then somebody brings up the open relationship, and 9.9 times out of 10 it's the wife or girlfriend. It goes to hell in a handbasket. It doesn't work, So anyhow, guys, there you go. Once again, proving this does not work. Your girl brings this up. End it. They're being selfish. They want the cake and eat it too situation, and it's a fucking mess. And again, well, I definitely think she's greatly exaggerating some of the things going on here, looking for pity. I do think the gist of it is, yeah, her husband has now got a gal pregnant, and he wants to be with her, and it's a big freaking mess. But so don't do that. And do I feel bad for her? Not one bit. Now, what's an article like this or a story like that? Comments. So I'm going to read some comments from the comment section because there's hundreds of them, and nobody's buying into her crap either. Oh, by the way, in the article, somebody said there was an issue about like the question about the age of the kid going off to college, and I think they just messed up the date or something like that. One guy says here, so I'm taking she instigated this open marriage, hoping she could sleep around, and he wouldn't be able to get any, so would be sitting at home faithful. This massively backfired when he met someone else. The wife then got jealous and changed her mind about the open marriage, but he's gone and got the girl pregnant. Pretty much sums it up. Like I said, it's not that hard for just a remotely good-looking girl, an average chick, even in her 40s, to get some guys who want to bang her. Really. They may not want a relationship with her, but they'll certainly bang her and leave. But for a guy, it's a lot harder. It's easier for an average chick to get a line of dicks wanting to have her fun with her than versus a good-looking guy. It is not as easy. I'm telling you now. Another one. This guy says she was the one admitting that she loved the random hookups with men. He just got tired of it and found a woman who wants the normal life again. She admits she misses the hookups, not the normal marriage. She should get out immediately, but it's because she wants the lifestyle. Yeah, she wants just him and wants to keep having fun. At her age, there are plenty of men who would indulge her for the rest of her life and be steady partners in that experience, with no interest in a family. She can go to any lifestyle club, single women always get in, and literally get hundreds of offers in one night. Okay, this woman is not like 25. She's 42. And I don't know what she looks like. They didn't show because they wanted to keep this woman anonymous. But the point is, even if she's very good looking for 42, still, yeah, plenty of dudes want to bang her, but it's not going to be as easy as her 20s. Another guy says here, eloquently, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I feel sorry for the child about to be born in this mess created by selfish, irresponsible adults. Yeah, I feel bad for the kid, too. Another one says, curiosity kills the cat. She could have saved herself a whole heap of time had she just taken a hammer and smashed her hand with it. She would have found it nets the same result. Another one, LOL, excellent. What did you expect? Next, you'll be looking after his aging mother while he's out being open. Ha ha. Anyway. And last one, is this a joke? Well, she learned too late that open marriages are not all cracked up to be. They had changed from open marriage to an affair, and that was the goal all along, I think. Husband and mistress are treating you like a doormat to allow yourself to be treated as a nanny maid in your own house. Grow a backbone, lady. Get a divorce lawyer ASAP. Yeah, you're not happy, divorce him. End of story. And therefore, he can be with Emma, who's 25, and I'm sure Emma will probably drive him crazy too. And he's got a kid to deal with, but this is what happens. I don't feel bad for her, and so many stories end like this, and a lot of the women say, don't ever do that. It's the biggest mistake of my life. But fuck them. Who cares? All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, find a good article you want me to cover, or a personal story of yours you want to share, or you got a question for me, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it works for the channel, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.